how companies that claim that they transform their organizational structure in a more agile way, doing it wrong, or just rename the positions, or just slightly transform their organizational structure, keeping the positions and the communication framework the same. So, the most popular organizational structure in companies is matrix organizational structure, which is simply a functional organizations. People are grouped into their departments by their main competence, like analysts, developers, testers, marketing, sales, and so on. And they have their head of their departments, head of their competencies, or functional managers or resource managers. And next to them, there is a department of project managers. And project managers request employees to their projects. And the resource managers, functional managers, partially with a part-time involvement, they distribute their human resources among different projects. There are four main responsibilities and actions of functional managers. First is to hire personnel, then to develop them professionally. Number three, to align their competency among different projects, to maintain the competency on their appropriate level, and to perform the quality control. So they constantly monitor and control and check whether or not their subordinates perform their main competent activity as they have to. And number four, they control the utilization of the resources. I think the last one is the most important, because companies want their employees to be utilized 100% or 120%, and they are not ready for any slack time employees might have. And many companies make this good shift from matrix organizational structure to cross-functional, projectized, or product development organizational structure, where they have cross-functional teams that are organized around value, or to be more precise, products or services that are intended to deliver value to clients and customers. And this organizational structure is good for at least two reasons. First, they are cross-functional, meaning they have all the competencies that they need to deliver the product from idea to the client. And that is why there is less waiting time. And the second good reason is that the accountability is more clear. It is clear who is responsible for what product. There is no mixed responsibilities for competencies or just a part of a function or just this specific activity. The team is responsible for the product. However, the top managers, the higher managers, while having these cross-functional teams with all the competences within the team, they still keep their functional managers. Why? That's a good question. Let's go through the activities and responsibilities of functional managers. First one, hiring new personnel. That still remains the same. Someone needs to hire new people. Second, they think that they need someone to develop their personnel. They believe that people cannot develop themselves, which is not the case. It is not true, because people can organize and people can develop themselves. How do they do that? There are a bunch of instruments, for example, star map or competence map, which is being filled out by the team, and team together decide how each of them will develop him or herself in sake of the team, in sake of achieving the product goal and delivering the value to the customer. They can do it by themselves. Number three, competency control. And again, they believe that people cannot self-organize on quality. And again, it is not true. People can self-organize and deliver the quality product. For example, in Scrum, there is this concept of definition of done, which stands for the quality of the product. All the items that should be checked, should be completed, fulfilled for the product to have the desired quality. And team can do it by themselves again, or at least with some facilitator, Scrum Master, or just a general facilitator, external facilitator, who will conduct this brainstorming activity and lead the team to the result of this initial definition of done. And number 4, resource utilization and leveling. This function is not needed anymore because people are 100% dedicated to the teams they work in and to their products. So there is only one function that still remains, and this function is hiring new personnel. And even this function can be outsourced to some trustworthy freelancer who will help in hiring initial senior employees, senior workers, and after the crucial number of team members are hired, they can continue hiring by themselves. So the team can hire other team members, and this is self-organization once again. So there are no apparent obvious advantages of having a full-time worker controlling the function, these functional managers, who is outside the product-focused teams. And on the other hand, there are disadvantages of having such roles as functional managers. Namely, these employees, like any other employee, they will find and keep their place under the sun. They will justify their actions. They will come up with idea of some improvements that are not created, that are not developed by the teams. So they will just inject these improvements from outside, and they will justify that these are very, very important improvements that will help us in a long term. But this is not usually really the case. And they need to acquire and express their power for them to grow higher the corporate ladder. And this will lead to increased conflicts. So these are the disadvantages of having these functional managers together with dedicated full-time product-focused teams with product owners deciding what to do to develop the product, and the team that is self-managing and can decide on their personal development, can maintain the level of quality, and can acquire the competencies they need by sharing their knowledge or by hiring or at least selecting the proper candidates for other administrative personnel to hire them. So in order to make this transition from matrix organizational structure to projectized or product development organizational structure with cross-functional dedicated product-focused team, carefully think about keeping their functional managers. Most probably they are not needed, or at least they are not as needed as you think you need them. And trust your teams, trust your people more. They can do a lot of stuff by their own.